Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of the Goal Getter Challenge. Going to give everybody just a brief chance to jump on. I'm so excited that you're here. My name is Suzanne Castle. I'm the creator and founder of the Sparkle Factor and the Brilliant Collab. And in this, the Goal Getter Challenge, we are trying to align how we think and develop goals with actually reaching them. What does it mean to achieve greater goals? What is your system and your process that you use to be the most successful? And that's what we're uncovering in the challenge here today. If you are on with me live or even replay, just set hashtag replay. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know that you're here, and I'll be checking the comments along the way. Just a reminder, Chris is doing a really good job. Let me show you. That's my dog, excuse me. So I've been asking you to post in the comments, or you can email me or text me, whatever works for you, some of the things that you're doing. So here is what he's been sending along the way. Yesterday, we talked a whole lot about developing a system for goals, and he has been doing that on Facebook, and I am so glad about that. So shout out to Chris. Good job, you. Let's see what else we might have going on. Let me see. If you are here live, all right, let's get started. I am so excited to be here with you today. Today, day 3, we are talking about programming. And I know that's a weird thing to be thinking about, but we are going to be talking about programming your habits. But before we jump in, I want to be sure that you are nailing down your goals for what you want, what you really, really want, and you've come up with a system to begin to uncover that goal. So did you create your system yesterday? If you did, throw in a comment that says, yes, you created your system. I'd love to know what that looks like if you haven't shouted that out to me already. So just yes, if you created your system. Sometimes it takes a little bit. We have to think through a lot of processes. I'm throwing a ton of information at you, so you might be stepping aside. That's okay. Take your time. You want this to be good work. It doesn't necessarily be fast work. So let me know in the comment box if you want to share any of your results so far, any ahas that you've had. I would love to see that as well. And you can always use the comment box for that as well. But like I said, today is all about programming your habits. It's super, super important. And it is how some people get derailed. Hi, Micah. Glad that you're here. So programming your habits is something that we don't always think about. So I've been thinking about this the last couple of days. And I remember as a kid watching Lost in Space. Now, I'm not talking about the new version on Netflix. I love it, by the way, if you haven't checked it out. I'm talking about the old version. Started in black and white. It did transition to color. Does anybody remember Lost in Space from there? I know I may be older. Just let me know, like say Lost in Space or do a space icon or something like that in the comment box and let me know that I'm not alone in my weirdness. But in Lost in Space, do you remember the robot? The robot was a Class M3 model B9 general utility, non-theorizing environmental control robot, simply known as M3B9 Gunter. Gunter, general utility, non-theorizing environmental control robot, Gunter. And the robot's catchphrases were, "It does not compute," or "Danger, Will Robinson," accompanied by flailing his arms. Anybody remember this? I've been thinking about Gunter because when it comes to being a goal getter, you too need to be a robot. And you need to be watching out for dangers. In other words, there are programs that we need to hardwire ourselves for success as goal hunters and goal getters. And this is where a whole lot of people fall off the goal getting bandwagon. They don't think of themselves as a robot or see themselves as the ability to put on their robot self. Now, you're going to be running around going, "Danger, Will Robinson," and throwing your arms all flayed out, all crazy. But as humans, we are programmed. We're programmed to respond positively to rewards. So this is how habits get formed. When we receive a reward, we do it again. Then we get the reward, and then what happens? Yeah, we do it again. That's the way this works. So, for example, mommies and daddies might use M&Ms to potty train, right? That's how I potty trained my daughter. We used M&Ms. It works every single time. There's something about chocolate, right? Now, I realize that eating chocolate because it tastes good, and then you might want more, and so then you eat it, and then you want more, and so you eat it, and suddenly you have a nasty chocolate addiction, right? Anybody feeling me there? That's part of the equation too. But you can use this reward cycle to program amazing habits, not destructive ones, into yourself as well. That's what I mean by when I say you must become a robot. Okay? Even the great comedian Jerry Seinfeld understands this principle. He was asked by a young comic how he could become better. So Seinfeld advised the young comic to write jokes every single day. And then Jerry Seinfeld revealed his own system for writing jokes every day. So he put a large calendar next to his desk, and on each day he wrote a joke. He put a big red X on that day. And then he said, after a few days, you start to have a chain, and you just keep at it. And the chain will grow longer and longer and longer every day. And then you'll find yourself, you like seeing that chain, especially when you get a few weeks under your belt. And your only job next is to not break the chain. Boom! That's it. He created a simple reward system for himself. For him, he was motivated by those red X's and not breaking that chain. He really didn't want to break that calendar change. It made him feel really good. And in the meantime, he got a whole lot of material for how he relates to people. I'm sure for the Seinfeld show, I'm sure in his stand-up, and I bet he probably still does this today. And you can do something similar. It's not that hard. You can create habits that will allow you to fulfill your systems, which will allow you to reach your goals. It works like this. First, you got your goals. Then you have system. And then you create a habit. Goals, system, habit. It's so simple. It's so powerful. I alluded to this yesterday when talking about that 40,000 page book. Do you remember that? So breaking things down to a system and then programming a way to do the system is what it's all about. And this is where rewards work wonders. Okay, now before we move on, I'm just going to check the comments, check in with you, seeing that want to be sure you're relating with me. Don't see any robots, so that's okay. I'm the only Lost in Space fan. I get it. That's okay. But is any of this resonating with you? Are you feeling this? You might give me a thumbs up. This is some of the really hard work that you're going to do is developing a program, right? So this is where people fall down. Okay, so what the next step is for you, this is part of the action that you're going to be doing in your workbook page, is you're going to be developing your own program. But I want to start off by asking you a really interesting question. If you completely ignored your goals and you focused only on your system, would you still succeed? Let me know in the chat box, yes or no. If you completely ignored your goals and focused only on your system, would you still succeed? For example, yeah, this is some of the hardest part, Lori. You are absolutely right. Would you still succeed? Chris says yes. Micah says no. This is so good. I'm glad we have a yes and a no. Okay, let me throw it down. I'm not just going to tell you the answer. For example, let's say you're a basketball coach and you ignored your goal to win a championship and you still focused only on what your team does at practice each day. Do you still think you would get results with your basketball team? I think you probably would. Think about it this way. The goal in any sport is to finish with the best score, right? But it would be ridiculous to spend the whole game staring at the scoreboard. The only way to actually win is to get better each day. If you're on a team sport, to be better as a team each day. If you're playing tennis, to get, your serve better each day. In the words of 3-time Super Bowl winner Bill Walsh, he said the score takes care of himself. The same is true for other areas of your life. If you want better results, then forget about setting goals. I know I already made you define your goals, but notice we didn't set our goals, right? We just defined what they were, right? Then we started thinking about our system to tackle those goals. We still haven't set goals. And now we're talking about a program to reach that. We must focus on our system, our program. See, goals are good for setting a direction, but systems and programs are best for making progress. A handful of problems arise when you spend too much time thinking about your goals and not enough time designing your program and your system. Yeah, look at the 1990 Buffalo Bills. That's a good illusion, Chris. Micah, isn't better each day a goal? So isn't being better each day a goal? It could be, but that's not measurable. How do you know you're better? Like what is the better? Sometimes it's like in weight loss, right? They say you really shouldn't weigh yourself every day because there's fluctuations in hormones and water and rest and all the things that go into that. So what you need to do is really only weigh yourselves once a week because you're looking at the, combined of it. But maybe being better, whatever that means to you, is a goal for you. But stick with me for a minute, because when you just think about your goals and you don't set enough time designing your program, here's what can happen. First, I want to remind you that winners and losers have the same goals. Has anybody ever told you that before? Sometimes we think that winners have goals. Well, losers have goals too. Every Olympian wants to win a gold medal. That's the goal. Every candidate wants to get a job. And if successful and unsuccessful people share the same goals, then the goal cannot be what differentiates the winners from the losers. It wasn't the goal of winning the Tour de France that propelled the British cyclists to be at the top of their sport. Presumably, they had wanted to win the race every year before that, right? Or why even enter? Just like every other professional team. The goal had always been there. It was only when they implemented a system, a program of continuous small improvements that they achieved a different outcome. And I think that might be the answer to your question, Micah. So another problem area that comes up when you're not thinking about your program is that achieving a goal is only a momentary change, right? A day-to-day change, Micah. Imagine you have a messy room and you set a goal to clean it. If you summon the energy to tidy up, and then you will have a clean room for now. But if you maintain the same sloppy pack rat habits that led to a messy room in the first place, soon you'll be looking at a new pile of clutter, hoping for another burst of motivation, right? You're left chasing the same outcome because you never changed the system behind it. You treated a symptom without addressing the cause. Achieving a goal only changes your life for the moment. That's the counterintuitive thing about improvement. We need to think about changing our results, but the results are not the problem. What we really need to change are the systems, the program that cause those results to come to fruition. So today in your workbook, what you're going to be thinking about is the habits that you want to program into yourself, okay? So these should definitely be related to the systems you created yesterday. And if you haven't created your system, you got some work to do. Remember, just start on one. If your three goals in creating 3 systems is too much, go back and just focus on one for now, for these 5 days, okay? So let's say, let's go back to the book writing thing, that the habit is to write 500 words every morning at 6:30 in the morning, right? That's what I gave you yesterday. You could use a calendar like Seinfeld, or you could reward yourself with M&Ms or maybe a nice hot shower afterwards. After doing this for a period of time, your brain automatically associates the pleasure of M&Ms with the work of writing. Or let's say that you want to read 30 self-improvement books in a year. The habit could be reading 20 pages over your lunch break. The reward could be a 20-minute walk or a delicious cup of coffee. You can't have your system without programming yourself. That's where the disconnect comes for so many. If you want, there is a digital version of Don't Break the Chain calendar, like Jerry Seinfeld talked about. Just go to don'tbreakthechain.com and you can start tracking your program if you want to do it that way. So today, what you're going to do in the workbook is you're going to tackle this idea by creating a program and a reward system for yourself. Let me put that Don't Break the Chain link in the comments. Hi, Brian. And you can look that up if that's something that you want to do. So again, in the workbook today, you're going to tackle this idea by creating a program and a reward system for yourself. Then the challenge will be to actually do it. right? And I get that you might not know the success of this for a couple of days. That's okay. Remember, we're designing the system, but I bet you're going to be amazed in no time. And when you fall in love with the process rather than a product, you don't have time to wait to give yourself permission to be happy. You can be satisfied anytime that your system is running. And a system can be successful in many different forms, right? Not just the one you first envisioned. I found that goals are good for planning your progress and systems are good for actually making progress. Goals are good for planning. Systems are good for making progress. Okay, the goals will provide direction. They might even push you forward in the short term. But eventually, the only thing that will help you is a well-designed system. Having a system is what matters. Okay, now tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the power of planning. We're doing some of that work today. Your days, planning your days for maximum productivity, because that's the next part of the system that will help you be a fabulous goal getter. And until then, don't forget to be sharing your work in some form so you can be entered in the raffle at the end of the week. Don't forget, I have a really fabulous prize on the way. Several of you have already reached out. You're really going after some amazing goals, and it's so exciting to be alongside you. So let me check the comments real quick. Let's see who's on live. Woot woot, Micah, indeed. I love that Micah did woot. Okay, scanning. Chris Cal Morgan, you killed it today in the comments. So Chris Cal Morgan, you are getting rewarded for engagement. Looky there. So, right, just like we were talking about. So Chris Cal Morgan, I'm going to be sending you a habit tracker journal so that you can start kicking it into gear with your goals. Don't forget, be posting, ask me questions, reach out for anything that you need. Tomorrow we'll be on at the same time, 3:30. Have a wonderful, fabulous, goal-getting, kick-ass day. I'll see you tomorrow.